Hello everybody, welcome to my video once again. So today I'm going to draw some scenes from Ponyo and I'm going to talk about it over the top. That's it. For some premise, I was watching Ponyo and I saw this really cute scene of Sosuke eating ice cream sadly, and I was just like, I so want to draw that. And then as I kept watching, I saw more scenes that I wanted to draw. So here we are, drawing some parts from Ponyo. If you haven't seen Ponyo before, it's about this fish named Ponyo, and she wants to escape from her father's confinement and wants to go on an adventure to the surface. So she goes up and gets picked up by this little boy, Sosuke, and he takes her with him and they do all these things, but then she gets taken back to the sea by her father, who's a human. But she uses magic to turn herself into a human herself so that she can go back to the surface to be with Sosuke. And she does that, but it causes major side effects on the world, and the whole town floods. And that sounds terrifying, but it's a Studio Ghibli movie, so they just make it look really cute and everyone's fine. But anyway, and then they do things together. That's basically the movie. I wanted to talk about this scene because in the whole movie, Sosuke is kind of portrayed as this really mature kid who's trying to be the man of the house while his father's at sea, and he picks up Ponyo and he takes care of her, and he just seems like a really mature kid. But then Ponyo gets taken away, or in his perspective gets lost in the sea, and he tries searching for her and then he can't find her and he just starts crying and he's so upset and he's bawling in his mother's arms, and then she buys him an ice cream to make him feel better. And it seems so much more real, like kind of the movie reminding you that he really is just a kid. You know, a lot of the times in movies when there's kids as main characters, they have to try and make them mature and like they're not very reliant on their parents and they're independent, because then it wouldn't really make them a main character if they weren't independent and did things by themselves. But then there's scenes like these where it shows that they're just a kid. The second one I did is also of Sosuke crying, because I'm not going to say that I like seeing him cry, but I like the emotion. I like the raw emotion. He's just a sad kid, you know, looking for his mother. In this scene, his mother, the town kind of gets flooded, so she goes down to help the people at the retirement home, which is where she works. And then in the morning, she's not back, so Sosuke and Ponyo go try and find her. And they find upon a road that isn't underwater, and his mother's car is there, and he keeps trying to look for her, but he can't find her. So he starts crying, and then Ponyo comes on and says, "Come on, let's go." And that's that scene. Ponyo was actually the first Studio Ghibli movie that I ever watched as a kid. I remember getting it at the DVD store and watching it and thinking it was so cute. I guess that makes it pretty nostalgic for me. I think it's one of my favorite movies as a kid. I'm gonna be honest, I hate drawing spiky hair because there's just so many strands to draw. I just can never seem to get it right at the first go. I feel like my style is a little bit too similar to Studio Ghibli, where it doesn't look that much different. The place where it differs is the rendering. So with these ones, I did kind of like I did a style that's very textured, I think. I liked doing that. I think I should do that a little bit more. I've been kind of doing lots of different things with my style recently. I've been doing this one a lot, this thick textured brown line art with kind of textured rendering. I used to do very shiny and smooth rendering, which I still really like, but I don't do it as much. I think it's okay that I'm using this kind of style with these, and it's okay to use a slightly different style with other kinds of pieces. I don't need to have just one style that I use all the time. And I think I've been kind of struggling with trying to keep that in mind. Because I've been doing this style so much, I kind of started thinking, have I forgotten how to do more rendered and a more shaded style? But I tried to do one for my new profile picture, and I think it looked good. So I think the thickness of the line art really changes it a lot. Yeah, I think I can do whichever style that I like depending on the work, and I think that's okay. This one's very cartoony, which fits the Ghibli theme. I say Ghibli, Studio Ghibli, but I know the Japanese is Ghibli, so that's probably the correct pronunciation, but I don't know. I like saying Ghibli. It's a fun word. Sorry, that's not important. Anyway, this one is just pretty. I took all of my references as screenshots from Netflix, so I had Japanese subtitles on. So ignore the subtitles on this reference screenshot. It's fine, ignore it. I think this one definitely turned out to be my favorite one. It's just such a cute frame, and I think the lighting made it turn out really well. Because there wasn't much of a pose, it's mainly just towel. I got it. I got the pose down well. I had so much trouble getting the face shape. This type of face shape was for some reason really, really hard for me to draw. I kept getting it wrong and having to redraw. It's just so weird. I think my favorite thing to do on an artwork is the highlight. That's definitely my favorite part. It just makes it pop. It's so nice. I think I need to learn a bit more about detail. I always finish a piece and then I'm like, I feel like it's missing something every time. It always feels like there's something missing. It's my perfectionism. With these ones, it's probably the backgrounds. But I wanted to do more of like I didn't want them to be individual pieces of work. I wanted them all to align together as just the scene of just the characters without the background. With this one, I had the toughest time with this pose. I definitely didn't get it right, and I don't think it turned out. I don't know, I had such a tough time. I'm not mad about the way it turned out, but I just don't think I did it as well as I hoped I would do it. Ponyo it's very similar. I'm pretty sure it's based off of The Little Mermaid. There are a few Studio Ghibli movies that are based off of books, like Howl's Moving Castle, and the new one, The Boy and the Heron, is based off of a book. I don't know, I don't think I mind either way. All Studio Ghibli movies, I love them all. I think they all have really great plots. Sometimes they don't make sense. Actually, most of the time they don't make sense. But that's okay. That's what we love about them. But I did read Howl's Moving Castle recently, and it was very, very different. Well, I wouldn't say very different. I'd say as different as any movie adaptation is to the book, but it had a very different vibe to it. So I think that even those Studio Ghibli movies that are based on other stories, they're just based on them, you know, they don't really follow the structure of those stories. Ponyo is just like The Little Mermaid, but like a completely different story. Howl's Moving Castle is very close to the plot of the book in that sense. The Boy and the Heron, I don't know anything about the book. The Japanese name is How Do You Live? It's let's find out together. Kimi tachi wa dou ikiru ko. I have no clue what the book's about. I think it's about a boy and his mother dying, but I'm not sure how based on the book the movie is. I liked the movie. I didn't think the plot made a lot of sense, and when I first watched it, I didn't know it was based on a book. So in my opinion, I thought this is just a crazy plot that's made up by Hayao Miyazaki, and I was like, Howl's Moving Castle I think is the only, or not the only, the Studio Ghibli movie that makes the most sense because it's based on a book. And then I found out that The Boy and the Heron is also based on a book. I was like, how much is it based on that? Because the plot kind of went all over the place. Not in a bad way, because it was a beautiful movie and it had a lovely story, and I really enjoyed it. But that is also the Japanese name for the movie How Do You Live? Kimi Tatsu wa Do Ikiru ka. And I always find it so strange how they translate not just Studio Ghibli movies, but Japanese movies into English titles. I've seen a lot where the Japanese name is very different from the English name. The Boy and the Heron is a good title, it's easy to remember, but How Do You Live is so beautiful. And that's all of them done. I did 4 frames in total. Really, I just wanted to draw some scenes from Ponyo because they're all so cute. Let me know if you have another movie or show you want me to do a similar thing for. And I also did one of me in this style that I chose to do. I suppose this is what I would look like in Ponyo. No, probably not. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you had a great time. Like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Check out my Instagram for more art, and I'll see you next time. Bye!